The Water and Sanitation Minister, Pemmy Majodina, has reiterated that the water crisis in Gauteng is self-inflicted. She says municipalities were warned as early as June to take care of the water infrastructure in the province. This as most parts of the province have been battling with water cuts in recent weeks. Majodina was briefing the media on the department's performance during its first 100 days. Now joining us to discuss this water crisis further is Dr. Jo Barnes. She's Senior Lecturer Emeritus at the Department of Global Health at the University of Stellenbosch. Good evening, Dr. Barnes. Thank you very much for joining us on The Full View. Now, I use the term crisis purely because experts have labelled it as such, but some people, at least government officials, believe it's a bit alarmist. We haven't reached crisis point and that the term only serves to create unnecessary panic. Where do you stand on this debate? Are we on the verge of a water crisis, or in fact we have reached crisis point?
We certainly are. And unfortunately, the reasons that the minister gave this morning to say that we have, in inverted commas, problems. The first that she mentioned is that so many people are moving to the towns and cities. Now, urban relocation of people have been on the go for the last 50 years. The department's own blue drop and green drop reports painted a really bleak picture a number of years ago. 47% of our water is what they call non-revenue water. It is lost. It goes through illegal connections, etc. And 46% of that water is not safe to drink. And 45% of the municipalities have no basic management data so that they know even how much water they get and how much water they distribute. So it is amazing that the government can say that since June they have warned the municipalities. Our municipal systems are dysfunctional. They are not producing the services that are needed. So we are ending up in a situation that is just, in the end, a blame game. We told them, but we don't enable them to do something about it. And it is hugely problematic, particularly for the economy, the health services, and the ordinary communities, what is going on at the moment.
Now, Dr. Urbanization is, of course, not a new phenomenon, so everybody knows of it. So would it be fair to blame government in this instance to say you lacked the foresight, you knew, but you failed citizens?
Let me put it to you this way. When you are faced with something that is such a big crisis, you start, first of all, by trying to conserve what you have. If 46%, almost half of the water that is in the system gets lost somehow, then you must desperately start to conserve that. That will double the amount of water that you have. And the saying is, start where you stand, do what you can and use what you have. But the actions that we're getting from the government is another talk shop, another investigative committee, and as the talks go on, the system deteriorates further and further.
Now, the minister today essentially reiterated what the Deputy President, Pemmy Majodina, said last week, that the water crisis is in essence rooted in infrastructure failures and municipal distress, which is what you're repeating today. But can we attribute it to mischief here, some sort of corruption, or it's just the lack of technical know-how, that they have failed because they really lacked the skills?
It's both. It's unfortunately people who've been for decades now employed in the system that don't have the proper training, and there is very definitely serious evidence of finances disappearing, and it is just often poor planning, very little forward planning. And how many times have how many of us told or warned the government only for them to ignore what is happening? So how do you deal with a system that is willfully deaf and blind until the crisis hits?
Doctor, now we're dealing with more than just one problem. Apart from lacking consistent water supply in certain areas, the quality of the water is also a problem. Now, on the 3rd of October, the ministry launched an anti-pollution forum to almost coordinate efforts to improve water quality, specifically in the Vaal River system. What do you think are the issues there, and could such a forum assist in yielding the necessary results?
No, a forum is another talk shop. if you let me be very honest with you. Every liter of water that you provide to a member of the public, at the end of that day, not far off another liter of dirty water is now in the system and needs to be cleaned and treated before release. So our sewage treatment works are in a dire, 66% of them are not performing in any way safely or providing effluent that is safe. Remember, what they put into the rivers and the environment is the drinking water for the town downstream. So we are polluting our water desperately, and we are literally shooting ourselves in the foot. And I'm so concerned that in the end, it's the people who move to the towns who are the worst offenders. That's simply escaping the fact that the system is broken in many places.
So where can they start? Because it sounds as though it's all doom and gloom. The system is broken. Where exactly do they start?
Start with the system you have. Mend, maintain, do the best that try and do proper maintenance. And we also need an effective system of oversight, so that officials don't just hide in their offices, but actually go out with a spade and fix what is leaking and what is wrong, and then reward those who are actually doing the right thing. It's not just punishment, but we have none of that. And somewhere when something goes wrong, there's a poor official halfway down the line that's going to get fired, so that he or she can take the blame. They've got a target painted on their back. It's far safer for them to stay in their offices, and that's killing the system.